Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh B'Shem Abishai B'Hashem Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this is a video that I did earlier, and it was muted by the powers that be. Normally they would just like take it down and put up some excuse or that it was offensive or, you know, didn't meet the guidelines when that was not the case. It just told the truth, and we both know that we all know that the truth is the enemy to the liars, to the posers. And this is just information being brought out by an Israeli journalist and his wife. And this video is still up. Both this one that was put up by Yahweh the Maccabees, 144 House of David, and the original video and all the videos that were done. But for some reason, because of the precepts that I attached to her comments, they muted mine. So we're going to attempt to do this again. All right. And the video is labeled Plan of the Enemy. So she's admitting that the posers, the imposters, the people who refer to themselves as Jews, she pretty much admits that they're not, that they went over there, you know, as a result of the Balfour Declaration, which really isn't of the Lord. This is a very powerful video, and it got past a lot of people, but I'm going to attempt to do this again. So without any further ado, let's let her speak, and then I'm going to stop periodically and bring out some scriptures.
Friends, I want to talk to you a little bit. Maybe you can help me to give me an advice how I am supposed to release this information. Not only on this channel here, but so most people will get it. And you know, I don't want you to watch my face. I hate my face. I hate doing camera. So I might turn the phone on Steve, but I talked with a person, myself, that works for FEMA actively now and has sources from people who work for government who were involved with building dumps, okay, which is underground bases in the United States.
DUMBS, D-U-M-B-S. DUMBS, which stands for Deep Underground Military Bases. That was prophesied in the scriptures, and that they would do this in the last days. This is Amos 9:2. Though they dig into hell, hell meaning the earth, the ground, or the grave. All right, there's a Hebrew word, sha'al. That's what it means. So hell that's taught in the Christian church is a myth and a lie. Hell is a condition, or it's talking about the ground. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up into heaven, thence will I bring them down. So now they got their satellite stations, they got their new space force, and they're digging into hell to hide from the Lord. Why? Because he's about to come. And this is the end of Esau Edom.
And they're whistleblowing to humanity. Unfortunately, information got to us. And why I say unfortunately is because at this point, it's better to be totally ignorant. That's how bad.
Now, that's some pretty bad information. She said that's how bad. It's better to be ignorant. This is Zephaniah 1:15. And it reads, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, and a day of clouds and thick darkness. All right, let's grab one more. Let's go back to Amos 5 and 20. And it reads, shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? So mass destruction and death, you know, that crying and that gnashing of teeth is about to happen. And she's going to tell you why. And we've been telling you all along. Okay? But there's a lot of things we've been telling people all along, and they're not listening. So maybe they'll listen when the Edomites tell you themselves. When a Jewish person tells you themselves.
What the information is. It's better not to know. And it sounds like scaremongering or fear-mongering, but we know that Jesus can turn this around and turn it all on those who are planning against the people of the United States and Europe and the world, all of these things. First of all, before we go into this, I want to tell you who is behind this. And it's the best ally of the United States. Yeah, Israel. You got it. It's Israel.
So she just admitted that it's the Israelis that are pushing all this agenda. This is Zechariah 9 and 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. A bastard. That word bastard, according to the Rogers Thesaurus 1931, fraudulent, fake, phony. Those are the synonyms for bastard. So a fraudulent, fake, and a phony would be in the land of Israel. Ashdod is a port city near Tel Aviv, Israel. Okay? And she just admitted or told you that they're behind this.
Remember how they were saying to you, all these pastors that bless Israel and you will be blessed?
All these pastors that bless Israel and you will be blessed. Okay, Kenneth Hagee, or Pastor Hagee, whatever his name is, John Hagee, is a joke. He's an Edomite who's been duped. All right? He's been duped because Amalek didn't share the wealth with them. And see, they like to say that, that the Edomites have been done away with. But that's impossible because the Lord said there's, well, I'm going to get that in Ecclesiastes. But let's get it Exodus 17:16 first. And it reads, for he said, because Yahweh hath sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And Amalek is the head house of the nation of Esau, Edom. And Amalek has not shared the wealth and power with the rest of the Edomites. The one thing that he did give them was whiteness. And now whiteness is played out. It doesn't benefit you anymore in America. It's another reason why these Edomites are so mad. And the ones that are in the know that the people in Israel are not the people of the Lord. Because, you got a lot of other Edomites that think they're the people of the Lord. Then remember, there's a war between Amalek and his own people. And his own people, the other Edomites, the KKK Nazi types, are pointing fingers at Amalek, saying that they're the Edomites. And Amalek's pointing fingers at the white power group, saying that they're the Edomites, when they're all the Edomites. All right. Another thing that they teach that, let's go to Ecclesiastes. They teach in the Christianity that the Edomites were done away with. So that's the easy way to get out of that heritage that the so-called white man has inherited. Because he is the son of perdition who is to be destroyed. But this is Ecclesiastes 4 and 16. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and a vexation of the spirit. So if there was a whole race of people that was exterminated off the earth, there will be relics, bones, evidence, weapons, pictures, murals, statues, stories, and movies about it. Hollywood would have made a killing off of it. but they didn't because it never happened. All right? That's why they never did a biblical movie that showed you the destruction of the Edomites. Because guess what? The Edomites have run and controlled Hollywood. And she's just going to go straight up and tell you that America is finished. They don't need it anymore. And this is true. She's going to tell you that this next lockdown is going to be indefinite or permanent. Why? Because from there comes the forced vaccinations, and after that comes the microchip. And when those things happen, then the Lord is going to show up, rescue the elect, and annihilate Esau, Edom, and Babylon, and everyone that's in it that's not of the elect.
Doesn't look like that. That's not what Bible says. That's not what it means. Because if that was true, there is no country that blessed Israel more than the United States. And I'm talking about money and support in general. American Christians pouring money into Israel, support, almost worship-like manner. And somehow God is not blessing us, does he?
No. And, you know, Pastor Jeremiah Wright, who was the former pastor of Barack Obama, said it many, many years ago, right before Barack came into office, around that time, that God damn America, he doesn't bless America, and he does. He damns America. America is damned. That's scriptural. Jeremiah Wright spoke the truth. And you notice Esau, Edom only gets offended when the truth is told. If it weren't the truth, they would just laugh about it, laugh from the scorn, pay him no attention. All right? But Esau doesn't like the truth. It burns, it cuts him deeply.
No, this country is not blessed. Yet we did bless Israel. How much money did we give them a year, Steve?
Billions, over 10 billion a year. So there's your real welfare state. You know, they love to put a Negro woman or a brown woman, so-called, on the screen with all their children and complain about get a job and you're draining the system. No, the Israelis, the state of Israel, gets billions in welfare from America. Second behind that are the rest of the white America, the rest of the Edomite Americans. They make up the majority of the people that are on welfare in America, but you would never know that watching Fox or CNN. But that's true. You can check the statistics for yourself. All right? And like he just said, this Israeli journalist, they get billions. That's Stephen Banoon from Israeli News Live. And I believe that this is his wife.
Billions. Our taxpayer dollars, they're poured into Israel. Our children went to fight for their causes and their wars. It was never for freedom.
It was never for freedom. All wars are bankers' wars, and who owns the banks? Whose faces are on the money?
It was always for Israeli interests. Okay? But they're done with us. They're done, and they want their redemption and their world rule. That's the truth. And they actually...
What they want is the blessing that they cannot have and will not have. All right? She's going to speak on the Balfour Declaration very shortly. So I'm just going to pull up Ezekiel 36:5. Because it prophesied that the Edomites would appoint the land of the Lord into their own hands. And she admits that that was done with the Balfour Declaration. So the Balfour Declaration is directly connected to biblical prophecies that a false people would be in the land of Israel. This is Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Oh, I'm in 35, Salaki. I need to be in 36. That part was true as well. And it says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart and despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. The Bible prophesied that the Idumeans, which is the Greek way of saying Edom, which were the Romans, the Greeks and the Romans, were indeed Edomites. The Apocrypha gives you the history of when the Edomites took over Europe, took over Greece, and started calling themselves by those names. The same way they call themselves Australians, the same way they call themselves Germans, the same way they call themselves Americans and or Israelis. That is the modus operatus of the Edomite. They have appointed the land of the Lord into their hands via the Balfour Declaration.
They hate Christianity, and they hate those Christians that were helping them, and they're done, and they want to destroy.
And that's true, that they do hate Christians. All right? Because they're against the Lord, against the Messiah, and against the Bible. You know, they worship the Talmud. How do you Christians support people who worship the Talmud? All right? Which is against Christianity and against who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. This is Isaiah 34 and 16. And it reads, seek ye out of the book of the Lord, of Yahweh. That's the Bible. All right? And read, none of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. So none of the prophecies shall fail, and there is no mate to her. There's no other book to go with her. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. All right? So there's no other book to go to. And anyone using another book is an enemy of the people of the Lord. So if anything, Christians should be in denial and completely cut off and expose Israelis, but they don't. Why? Because they benefited from whiteness up until this time.
This nation and Europe and other nations, and create their new world order. Just as was the plan from the very beginning. Balfour Declaration and this whole thing of creating State of Israel and putting Zionism virus into Christianity, that was all pre-planned.
Wow, Zionism bias into Christianity. It is. It's all pre-planned. Because it's funny how Zionists can openly be all about Israel, but the Hebrew Israelites can't. Christians have a problem with it when the Hebrew Israelites bring it out. But when the Zionists, who are clearly not the people of the Lord, speak of Israeli dominance over all the other people, no one seems to have a problem with it.
So all of this can happen now, and Jerusalem one day can be the headquarters of their new world, of their earthly kingdom with their Messiah installed. There's so much I want to tell you on this, and I don't know if I can right now, but I will try. What I want to tell you is that I worked with, talked personally. Now traveling, I called up the person, and I asked that person, please talk to me again and again and tell me slowly again and again all of the details. And I can't put my sources out because I have to protect my sources.
Because these people will lose their jobs or their lives more than likely if they speak to her publicly, or their face or their voices are heard, they'll be identified. She could just black out their face and change their voices. She should consider that.
I asked the person for any way that could be done, that this information can be given to you from the person's mouth directly, and the person said no. So now I have to do it. they've been trying to do it, but I want to tell you that it's number 7 source now. 7.
7 is a number of completion, man. It's a wrap. It's done. All right. 7 credible sources that she went to all gave her the same story. All within the government, some within FEMA.
Person that is in the know directly from government. So what I want to say is that second lockdown will be permanent. There will be no coming out of it.
So that means no more baseball, football, basketball, soccer, no more stadium sports. This is it. This is the last hurrah. They're about to shut this place down, all based upon a lie. This is a live exercise. She's going to admit that. Hell, Mike Pence admitted it on national TV. And the president whispered to him, you should have let us know. All right? This was a live exercise to see how you would respond. And you stupid, simple Americans and you cowards out there allowed these people to take all your freedoms away, lie to you, and now even lock your face up. Your face, all right, is incarcerated behind a mask.
That's what the person said. This is how FEMA is trained now. They know that there will be no coming out. And they're making everything happen now, and they're making their people, they're preparing them and training them very heavily. So first lockdown and this whole corona hoax was a live exercise. Because government was measuring how much does it take to lock every city down, how people react, what the resistance would look like, how much they can buy their hoaxes, and how the fear-based mind control works, and how they can fool everyone to pull their agenda, because they are done with United States. It's over. Friends, it's over. There is no more United States. We are living our very last days here. Sisters, it's the last days of putting on lipstick. It's the last days of taking your family for dinner. Okay. This is what I want to say to you. The second lockdown will be permanent. The person told me, wherever you are at the second lockdown, plan on either dying there or surviving there if possible, depending on how prepared you are.
So most of you people got your stimulus check and you went out and bought rims, you bought Jordans, you bought gold, and you know, chains and watches, PlayStations and Xboxes. You weren't smart enough to buy bags of rice, beans, and water, or even, you know, not that that would save you, but it would give you a much better chance firearms. You went out and you splurged what little money that they gave you on things that are not important. A serious, serious time is upon America, and I quite frankly am elated. I'm excited about it. This is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And that is only the elect of Israel. 2/3 of Israel is going to die right along with these heathens here in Babylon. All right? The 2/3 will be born on the other side into the kingdom of heaven through the Israelites that make it. The rest of you are screwed. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bashem Rakak Wadash Wa Abba Babal Shalom.